Hey guys, my name is Crazy Penguin, and welcome back to another class overview. After getting a lot of feedback from you guys, we decided to change the title around a little bit, because simply put, we're just showing you what the class has to offer. So, in this series, I'm going to be showing you all the different weapons, their strengths and weaknesses, and then after that, some gameplay, as well as commentary about the pros and cons of using the class, as well as its strengths and weaknesses, some different playstyles, and just general thoughts about the class. So, the first weapon is the heavy spin fuser. And if you guys don't know how to use the spin fuser by now, well, you're out of luck. This is the only option you have for a primary with the brute. It hits very, very hard, has a low fire rate, and a very large splash radius. It's great for taking out base assets. A raider unupgraded will only take 2 shots. Base turrets are somewhere between 3 and 4. And because the splash is so huge, generally when you're shooting one of these assets, if there's a technician repairing it, 1 or 2 shots is going to take him out as well, just by shooting the asset itself. Overall, it's a great weapon. You just need to make sure that you make your shots count. Well, as quickly as that, we're already on to the secondaries, the first of which is the automatic shotgun, and it acts just like all the other shotguns in this game. Hit scan with a fairly decent range and can do a lot of damage, especially if you're hitting a bigger target. The fact that it's automatic means that it does a lot of damage. It has a high DPS, but it being hit scan, it generally is fairly difficult to hit people with it, to hit moving targets, that is. Overall, it's a great secondary, and it's a great complement to the brute. The second secondary is the Nova Colt, and I haven't gotten a lot of experience with this weapon. I've tried it out a little bit here and there in practice mode, and I don't think that it warrants the unlock personally, but I'll give you an idea of how it works. It has 6 shots, each of which doing over 100 damage. They're all hit skin, just like the automatic shotgun, and it has a decent range. Overall, it's not a bad weapon, it's just hard to use. It's very hard to land those shots if you're not concentrating really hard on precision. And because it only has 6 rounds, it's difficult to use, at least in my hands. And on to the grenades. First of which is the fractal grenade, and this is the bread and butter of the brute. You see disco lights, you know that there's a brute around. This thing is what he's best known for, I guess you could say, his fractal grenade. It is really, really good. It's great for area of denial, making sure that enemies can't pass a certain point. It's great for trapping enemies in a corner. It's great for raw damage. It doesn't do anything to base assets, but you throw this around a corner, you'll take out a light turret, or you can trap a person in a corner, etc., etc. It's just a great item, simply put. It does massive damage, and there's only minor drawbacks. The first of which being if you throw it on an angled surface, the lasers are going to shoot into the ground, and you're only going to get half the potency of the grenade in that way. And the other is the long delay that it takes for the grenade to actually start shooting its laser beams. You throw it, it hits the ground, it slowly hovers, and then it finally shoots. It's quite a long while, and it takes a while to get used to. The second grenade is the light sticky grenade, and again, I personally don't find this worth the upgrade. I've toyed around with it a little bit in practice, and it acts very similar to the infiltrator sticky grenade, but for the brute, it just doesn't really fit his playstyle. The fractal grenade is just too powerful for the light sticky to be a viable option. The light sticky does a decent amount of damage, and it always waits a fixed period of time before it explodes after it hits the surface. Not a bad item, just pales in comparison to the fractal grenade in my opinion. And on to the packs, the first of which is the energy pack, and it's real simple. It simply gives you more energy, which translates into more mobility most of the time. Overall, it's decent. It's not spectacular, but it's there. And then the next one is the heavy shield pack, which is probably the next thing I'll unlock for the brute. It gives you a lot of utility and a lot more survivability. In those instances on Rain Dance when you're stalemated and the enemy has your flag down in their gen room, that extra survivability is going to allow you to get in there, toss a few fractals around, maybe return a flag. The heavy shield pack is just simply put going to give you more longevity, but it's going to restrict your movement. Okay, so now we covered all of the different weapons, and you get a feel for what the brute can and can't do. Between all the stuff that he has, I'd say that he most definitely shines the best indoors with all of the explosive damage. It doesn't really do you all that good if you're out in a field and you can't land a shot. When you're indoors, they're confined, they don't have much room to move around. Your fractals can do a lot of work, and the explosion radius on your spin fuser comes in really handy. You can hit multiple targets quite easily. You're also really great at disrupting the flag stand. Crashing the stand with your fractals is a great strategy. You see it in competitive play a lot. Probably the only time you'll see a brute is when they go up to throw a few fractals on the stand, because generally a Juggernaut's going to be able to do the same task for a longer period of time more effectively. However, I did mention this scenario earlier with the heavy shield pack, and if you need a lot of HP, then this is the way to go. You know, equip that thing on, grab a grab cycle or something, and you'll have a lot of HP that they'll have to eat through. At the start of the game, I like to use my heavy spin fuser to take out their base assets, take out the radar and both of their turrets. It takes very few shots, and generally at that point in the game, people aren't really paying attention to them, and it can help the first cap or two go through a lot more smoothly. If you see a heavy sitting on the flag, tossing a few spin fusers on him is going to make him more concerned about you than incoming flag cappers as well. And then getting indoors or crashing the stand with your fractals is probably the next best bet. After that, I think that your role is pretty much disruption. Try your best to distract as many people as you can and to keep them from doing what they're supposed to be doing. If you find a technician, take out his turrets. If you see a heavy on flag, take out his force field. If you see a sentinel, if he's not moving and you get a direct shot on him, he's dead. If you see any of the sentinel's deployables, the jammer packs, take those out. Just cause them as much trouble as you can. That's pretty much your role. At least that's what I think. But most of all, have fun with it. If you can achieve the same thing with a different class, go for it. If you like the brute, have fun with it. Overall, you're great indoors, offense or defense. So if you feel the need to defend your own generator, you're great at that too, especially when you're sitting around your own inventory stations. You don't have to worry about the ammo packs, and you can throw as many fractals as you want. You can basically make it so an endless stream of lasers is happening at any one doorway if you have safety third and a inventory station next to you. It's great for defense. Generally nobody can come in without taking somewhere between 400 and 1600 damage. That's going to kill a lot of them, or it's going to cut a heavy in half and then a couple of spin fuser shots and he's dead. But anyway, that's pretty much the brute in a nutshell. If you have anything to add, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to like the video and subscribe, as we do have much more coming out in the future. And I'll see you in the next video, guys.